All right, you guys, what's going on? It's your boy Town Biz. So, you know, I'm gonna do more live videos tonight than I will do actual videos. So I'm gonna do some streaming, and I'm gonna try to keep all these videos under 5 minutes. But as you guys know, Tom Thibodeau was let go of the Knicks based off the fact that he failed to get them to the finals, even though he was very successful as a coach. I think they had back to back 50-win seasons. Um, they made some decent playoff runs, but due to the fact that they lost basically in 6 games to the Pacers, who are now going to be facing OKC in the finals, that's it. That's all. Um, I see this day and age, people have zero tolerance now. It's to the point people don't even want to give you a chance now. I think he should have been granted at least one more year, but then due to the fact a lot of people said that he was running his players into the ground, he was playing them too many minutes, didn't want to utilize the bench. You know, even some of the players were saying that they were playing too many minutes and they wanted to get a rest so they could be efficient. Now that's funny where you have players who you would think would be happy to be getting playing time saying that we're getting too many minutes, but they don't have no problem, cashing those extremely large checks. But, at the end of the day, I'm not a team owner, but this is where we're headed with these guys. But Thibodeau, for the most part, he's been successful everywhere he's went. He just shown that he just can't get you, across the finish line. And that's the problem. But I think they were close. I just think they were missing a few pieces. Their bench wasn't decent, and he was playing the starters too many minutes. But with that being said, where will he go next? So I'm pretty sure he'll get another chance. Now, who's going to come in? Maybe, maybe the guy who Denver let go. There's a few other options out there, but we'll just have to see. I think they should have gave him another chance, but like I said before, people just don't have patience anymore. It's just like it's kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't. But you didn't seen, guys that have won championships get fired. It's like, okay, you won one championship. Now we need you to win two more. People need to understand as well as anybody, and I think people with common sense knows uh it's not that easy to repeat in any form of sports. You can win the World Series next year, and then, after winning, excuse me, you can win the World Series, and then the following year, you can't get it done. It's very hard to repeat as a champion. So if somebody's able to get it done, then fine. But at the end of the day, the goal is to get you to at least one championship and win. But now, even if you win the championship, now it's like they're, these guys are ready to toss you to the side. Like they don't understand. What you have to do is you have to improve on the team. You have to take steps to make sure that the team gets better and that they come back even better the next year. And then people don't understand. Let's just say, you lose three or four key, players to another team, then you're not going to have the same team. Now, if you come back with the exact same roster, then okay, maybe. But then here's the thing, you got to look at your competitors. Okay, if they lose to you, they're going to try to figure out what they can do to get better and what they can do to beat you. So, like I said, it's not easy to repeat as a champion. Ask the Kansas City Chiefs. They were going for a three-peat and they got squashed by the Philadelphia Eagles. It's just very hard. The Warriors, the Warriors tried to three-peat, and unfortunately due to injury and, all type of circumstances, they wasn't able to get it done. It's very hard to repeat as champions. So I think people have to understand that. Same thing with Milwaukee. They won one, and then 2 years later they get rid of the coach. Oh man, you're not doing, you know, and it's not his fault sometimes if you suffer injuries and everything. But man, just to see the way that they got rid of him, you're just like, wow, they don't have no patience anymore. Sometimes I say when you're a coach, this is what I'm saying. You saw those pictures of what his hair looked like when he began coaching and what it look like now. You literally pull out your hair. Your hair turns gray from the stress, from the pressure. You have pressure coming from so many different directions. You have pressure from um, the ownership group. You have pressure from mainstream media. You have pressure from social media. So you getting hit all at once. So and people can sit up there and say they don't listen to what we say. Of course they do. But so you got to understand you're under tremendous pressure. So my thing with that, some people say it was justified. I don't think it was justified. I think they could have gave him one more year to get to the finals, and then afterwards, then maybe, yeah, then you have to, revisit the situation and be like, okay, should we keep you one more year? Tell us why we should keep you one more year, or you just say, okay, we're moving on without you. But man, they don't have no patience no more. You see what Denver did. I mean, I'm serious. You getting coaches getting fired like right after coming off a championship or about to go into the playoffs, and that's just crazy. That's crazy. Mark Jackson been so out of the loop now. It might be hard to like get him accustomed to coaching again, because when he coached, you have to understand the league is a lot different. The league is a lot different when he was coaching. I'm gonna say this again. What happened to Mark Jackson was a travesty. He was unfairly fired, and then for some reason he was ostracized, which I don't know why he was ostracized. Mark Jackson didn't even have like a bad reputation. His players liked him, but behind the scenes, a lot of people felt one of the main components to him getting removed from the Warriors. They said it was Andrew Bogut, because Andrew Bogut, according to reports, is an atheist, and they didn't like the fact that Andrew Bogut and people affiliated with him, they didn't like the fact that he was always bringing up religion. So Andrew Bogut, he did not like, he's not a religious guy. According to reports, he's an atheist. But then you also heard reports that Mark Jackson wasn't like that. That he wasn't just walking in the clubhouse, telling everybody to pull out their Bibles and, let's, read the Bible and all that kind of stuff. So, at the end of the day, between what we heard and then, what's been told to us, somewhere there's the truth. And I respect that. But I don't think that's a fireable offense to where you just get like ostracized from ever coaching again. And then there's no real explanation on why he never was, able to get another coaching job. Like they dirtied his name that bad. It was that serious with the religion thing. So that's why, to a certain degree, I have to call bullshit with that. Well, they saying, well, listen, I don't always believe what get told to me, even though I do media myself. I just find that crazy that you go to you go to the Eastern Conference Finals and you at least play 6 games before you lose. But then again, they were favored in that series. But then listen, upsets happen all the time. Indiana just played above their heads and above the rim. They just they just got hot in the playoff. It happens. They were just one of them teams that came alive in the playoffs. And now who knows what's going to happen within the next few days starting Thursday. They actually have a chance to win this series. People believe that they have a chance to win this series. And it could happen. But we're going to have to see. Well, you know what? I don't always go by what people said or what you didn't heard, because they saying on one note that he was too much of a hard ass, and then you got another group of people saying, hey, Hey man, he was trying to force his religion on us. Well, I don't know. That remains to be seen. But whatever the reason is, you've heard worse about coaches. I heard Chuck Daly was difficult to deal with. Larry Brown was a snake. You see that he tried to sneak and trade Allen Iverson or get Allen Iverson traded behind his back. So let's just keep it a buck here. And we all know what type of dude Don Nelson. We know what type of guy Don Nelson is. Don Nelson definitely epitome of being two-faced and being a snake. So, I'm just putting that out there. I hope he gets another chance. Mark Jackson been out for a while. If he's been out this long, he's probably not going to get another shot. He's been out for a while. I do think Malone is going to get another chance. I really do. But anyway, just wanted to do a quick video about the reset. Be back with more. It's your boy Town. I'm out.